past 50 degrees nose up. That's the pitch attitude the flight data recorder captured from Air Midwest 5481, a Raytheon Beechcraft 1900D, seconds after it lifted off from Charlotte Douglas on the morning of January 8, 2003. The same recorder caught 127 degrees of left bank and a final pitch attitude of about 47 degrees nose down. The airplane struck a US Airways maintenance hangar on airport property, roughly a mile and a half from where the takeoff roll began. Everyone on board was killed. The National Transportation Safety Board found that the pitch control the crew needed had already been taken away from them at a maintenance facility in West Virginia by a job that was signed off as complete. The safety board's probable cause is short, and it points straight at a maintenance task. The NTSB determined the cause to be, quote, the airplane's loss of pitch control during takeoff. The loss of pitch control resulted from the incorrect rigging of the elevator control system, compounded by the airplane's aft center of gravity, which was substantially aft of the certified aft limit. End quote. Two failures stacked. One happened at a maintenance facility. The other happened at the gate in how the airplane was loaded. Take either one away, and this is probably a routine morning departure. The rigging job is where this video lives, because that's the failure a mechanic could have caught. Rigging is the process of setting the mechanical relationship between what the pilot does with the controls and what the control surface actually does out on the airframe. The 1900D's elevator is the hinged surface on the horizontal tail that makes the nose go up and down, and it's cable-operated. Steel cables run from the control columns in the cockpit, back through pulleys and bell cranks, to the elevator itself. Rigging that system means adjusting cable tension and cable length so that full travel of the column produces full travel of the surface, in both directions, to the numbers the manufacturer specifies in the maintenance manual. Two pieces of hardware do the work. A turnbuckle is a threaded barrel joining two cable ends. Turn the barrel one way and the cable shortens and tightens. Turn it the other way and it lengthens. A rig pin is a simple metal pin that drops through aligned holes to lock a quadrant or bell crank in its exact neutral position while adjustments are made. The pins define the datum. The turnbuckles set the tension around it. Get the sequence wrong or skip a verification step, and the system can end up perfectly tight, perfectly smooth, and mechanically limited to less travel than the design requires. Nothing about it feels broken on the hangar floor. The elevator work on November 233 Yankee Victor was done during a Detail 6 check at a Raytheon Aerospace facility in Huntington, West Virginia. Air Midwest contracted its heavy maintenance out. The safety board found that the mechanic performing the elevator rigging was working under on-the-job training supervision. That means a less experienced technician doing the task under the oversight of a qualified one, inside a repair station operating under Part 145 of the Federal Aviation Regulations. And the procedure in use was an abbreviated version of the manufacturer's, with steps omitted. Everything that follows turns on the gap between the full procedure and the shortened one that was actually worked. When the safety board examined the airplane's elevator control system, it found the nose-down travel reduced to roughly half of what the system should have had. Down elevator is what brings the nose back over after rotation. The system still moved. It still felt normal to a crew running a pre-flight control check. On the ground and in cruise, that shortfall stays invisible because nobody is asking the elevator for everything it has. It shows up in exactly one place. Rotation, at low speed, close to the ground, with the center of gravity already working against the crew. The one regime where the margin disappears is the one regime that job quietly compromised. There's supposed to be a second set of eyes on work like this. A required inspection item, RII, is a maintenance task where the person who performed the work cannot be the person who approves it. Federal Aviation Regulation 121.371 says it plainly. No person may perform a required inspection if that person performed the item of work being inspected. Elevator rigging is exactly that kind of task. The NTSB found that 5 of the 6 mechanics on duty at Huntington had less than 8 weeks on the job, and none of them had completed Detail 6 training. So the foreman assigned the Raytheon Aerospace Quality Assurance Inspector to provide the on-the-job training for the elevator rigging. That same inspector then performed the required inspection and signed it off. The second set of eyes was the first set of eyes. Now the second factor. Center of gravity is the point an airplane balances around, and every aircraft has a certified forward and aft limit. Inside that range, the flight controls have the authority to do their job. Push the center of gravity behind the certified aft limit, and the airplane becomes more willing to pitch up and less willing to come back down. On this flight, the NTSB found the center of gravity was substantially aft of the certified aft limit. The airplane had been loaded using standard average passenger and baggage weights rather than actual weights. That was legal and routine at the time, and the board named the FAA's average weight assumptions as a contributing factor. The board listed 6 contributing factors, and not one of them is a broken part. Air Midwest's lack of oversight of the work being performed at the Huntington, West Virginia maintenance station. Air Midwest's maintenance procedures and documentation. Air Midwest's weight and balance program at the time of the accident. The Raytheon Aerospace Quality Assurance Inspector's failure to detect the incorrect rigging of the elevator control system. The FAA's average weight assumptions in its weight and balance program guidance at the time of the accident, and the FAA's lack of oversight of Air Midwest's maintenance program and its weight and balance program. 4 of the 6 are about supervision and paperwork. The report also named cockpit voice recorder problems on the Beech 1900 as a separate safety issue in its own right. Afterward, the FAA revised its standard average passenger and baggage weight assumptions, and the NTSB issued recommendations aimed at maintenance work practices, quality assurance, and how on-the-job training is supervised. The weight change is the one most people remember. The one that matters more on a hangar floor is quieter. On this airplane, on this check, a full manufacturer's procedure had been condensed into something shorter, and the shortened version was the one the trainee worked to, under the eyes of the man who would sign the inspection. The airplane went back into service short of nose-down travel, and nothing in normal handling would have shown it. Every abbreviated work card is a bet that the steps somebody removed were the unimportant ones. Every video on this channel starts with an accident report and ends on the hangar floor, so subscribe if that's the kind of thing you want more of.